because it's a farewell
Mm-hmm.
dance. I think it's that last hug. You can tell they're going to go their separate ways at the end. And
Yeah.
it's grieving the loss of a friendship.
Welcome to the Dance Maker podcast, presented by Small Plates Choreography Festival. In this series, we engage in inspiring conversations with choreographers from the Small Plates Network, whose work has been showcased in our performances. Small Plates Choreography Festival is an artist-centric dance performance series designed for dance makers at all stages of their choreographic careers. We expertly curate and produce concert dance through an open application process, highlighting distinct, uncommon, and relevant short dance works in performances in several different U.S. cities each year. Our goal is to be a platform for dance makers to amplify their voices and reach, and to create a lively interface between artists and audiences, exploring the creative process and the intent behind each dance. I'm Beth McKee Elliott, a lifelong dancer, dance maker, producer, somatic practitioner, and artist. Choreography has been a profound pursuit throughout my life, and I established Small Plates Choreography Festival in 2012 to create a platform and community for choreographers like myself to present work and to connect with audiences and fellow creators. This podcast is an extension of Small Plates Choreography Festival and is intended to amplify the impact of the artists in our community. This podcast serves as a medium for conversations with dance makers about their inspiration, experiences, processes, and the deeper purpose behind their creations. We will hear from the talented choreographers of Small Plates about what draws them to dance, their creative process, and their artistic journeys. To be a dance maker is to be a joy maker, a culture maker, and a meaning maker. Join me as we discover how choreographic work comes to life through the eyes of the artists of Small Plates, and learn where you can engage further with them and with their performances. Welcome to the Dance Maker podcast. I'm Beth McKee Elliott, and I'm here today with Meredith Barnes. Meredith is the founder and director of DanceArtTheater. She teaches at Fairfax Academy, which is a high school performing arts program for students in Fairfax County Public Schools in Virginia. She's the host of Small Plates Duck, the host of Small Plates Nova, which will be coming to us next year in 2026 in April. And she presented her dance Relationship Impasse at Small Plates Newburgh in 2024. And we're going to talk to her today about that dance.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. I want to just start off with a little transparency, and that is that we've known each other for a long time.
Yep.
How long have we known each other? Since
at least 10 years.
Oh, it's been at least that.
At least that.
Probably more.
Yeah. When I moved to the DMV area, I think you were like one of the first people that I met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go way, way back to my Northern Virginia days. I've lived in 2 different places since then. But I just remember and you've been involved with Small Plates for a really long time too. Like I don't even know how many Small Plates you've been in, almost all of them. And I just remember at one year, might have been 2019, we were at Small Plates Richmond, and you were on your way to your house at the Outer Banks.
That's right.
We were like, let's do a show down there. Maybe we could do Small Plates at like the Duck Amphitheater. We started with the idea way back then, 2-3 years ago. I moved down here, and now we have our Duck show. Such a great show too. I loved the relationships that we formed at that event, and we're going to keep doing it. And now we're going to be, now you're going to be hosting the Nova show.
The Nova show in 2026. Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, Small Plates is just such a wonderful avenue for dance makers, and the way that it's just gotten very popular and beloved by the community, the dance communities all over. It's just really, it's great. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to be a part of it for
Oh, I'm
sure.
so grateful to have you as part of it. It's really great, the things that we've done together. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, and I even do like a open dance works, which I think we started
We
together.
did. Yeah, I think you and I were on that Virginia board, dance coalition board or something together.
Hmm.
And you and I were the ones that like really had like the passion for choreography. And I even remembered like when we first met, and it was like we were both kind of trying to get that job at Nova, and I was like,
Yep.
well, just come dance for my company. And you were like, I don't want to dance. I want to choreograph.
I want to make dance. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I was like, oh, she's like me. She's a choreographer at heart. I always was too. I always saw like teaching as a means to my choreography, to creating my choreography. So it's not, I mean, I loved teaching, but I always saw myself as a choreographer first.
Yeah, me too. I mean, creating dance is like incredibly meaningful and a healing experience for me. I have since, when I was young, I danced
Mm-hmm.
professionally, a military family. We moved around a lot. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to get very creative, but I found a way to make dance everywhere we went, whether it
Yeah.
was, I would just reach out and be like, I need somebody to
Yeah.
help make me dance, help make me dance. Like I knew from then, I said, whenever we settle, I've got to be able to make dances and
Yeah.
create dance
We were off living parallel lives in different places,
in
different
different
branches of the
places. Yep,
military.
that's right. That's right. That is exactly right. I've been very lucky to have been able to work with a lot of people in a lot of different areas of the country and even overseas.
Hmm.
And I think the biggest thing I got from that is that dance is everywhere. I don't know about you, but when I graduated from college, it was this whole idea of like, well, if you're going to dance, you have to go to New York because that's the only avenue. And I just found that even we moved every 2 or 3 years, and I found dance everywhere, everywhere.
Me too. Sometimes it took me a while, and sometimes I had to create it myself.
Oh,
I had to
yes.
create the experience that I wanted to have. I had to create a dance company so that I could have a place to dance, and for people like me, create a place. Like I lived in Southern Maryland, and there were only like 3 dance studios for kids. And then there was a lady on the base that was doing stuff. It was only studio dance, and nobody there knew what I was even talking about when I was like, I want to start a dance company. It
Right.
was like, well, there's already 3 of them here. Like, no, those are studios. So yeah, it was a lot of educating and a lot of like making my own opportunities as well.
Yep.
What is your first, like, youngest choreographer creating a dance experience that you can remember?
Well, interesting. It was in college, I'm sure. Yeah. It was like my senior thesis.
Hmm.
And I created this like quartet, 2 guys, 2 girls trying to tell a story. And it told a story, but it was like really bad. I've looked back on that and thought, this is so bad, you know. But I'm also one of those that, like, if you just wait to create great art, you'll never ever do it. And sometimes it's not the best. But I remember that feeling of when something that you created is on the stage, and that feeling of like, what is, how are people going to take it? And trying to navigate that feeling of trying to please the audience, or am I not trying to please the audience, or,
Mm,
making meaningful art, or is it just for entertainment purposes? All of
yeah.
those things that go through a choreographer's head when they're trying to present something that
Yeah.
they've created.
Rewind a little bit and tell me about your early dance experience. Like, have you always been a dancer, or how did you start? How did you start dancing, and then how did that lead to choreography for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was a dancer at one of those little local studios that did like
Hmm.
tap, jazz, and acro in the same 45
Hmm.
minutes.
Me too.
Yeah. And then at some point, that teacher even said to me, like, I think you should go to a bigger town and maybe take some more
Mhm.
serious classes, which I did. And then I went to audition for colleges. I had never heard of modern dance before in my life. And at the audition for the program, they were like, okay, this is it. And then I had like ballet shoes and ballet tights and didn't even know that you could dance barefoot. But that audition class, I knew right then that was going to be a lover of modern dance and that was my
Mm.
thing. Just right there, I was like, this is it. Like this type of dance is what I want to do. And then and that was at University of North Carolina at Greensboro.
Okay.
And then I just started working really closely with Jan Van Dyke and John Gamble and started dancing for Jan as a student there even.
Oh, wow.
And when I think about dance makers, she was a really great dance maker. And she just had this vision of like using tools, using the dancers to help form whatever her idea or image of what the dance should look like. And I said, that's a smart idea, And so I really do think that I kind of copied that method of using dancers as tools and helping them shape the direction and the intent of the work. And that what a crucial role the people that you're working with take in the experience of making whatever it is that we're trying to present. So I danced with Jan for a few years and then got married and traveled because he was in the military and we moved to Europe. So we've been in Europe 6 years and got to dance there. And like you said, just your experience was the same. It was like you just kind of yell out like, dancers, anybody know what are there any dancers here? And then just keep going until you find something. And I mean, we moved 11 times in 22 years. So at one point
and
it was,
that's not even a lot.
I know,
To some
compared to
military
some
families.
military families. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was sometimes it was just me and another girl, and we would just we created a duet, and then we would just go present it anywhere we could, for 6 months, But we found it, we found it. It was good. So I think even though I really liked performing, what we do in the studio is so much more meaningful to me as far as creating is concerned.
A great part of what motivates small plates is because there's, like we only show the audience this 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of dance, but there's a whole lifetime practically that goes into each dance. And everybody, every single body in that dance, everything that they've been through at every rehearsal and all that time, it's like literal blood, sweat, and tears sometimes to make a dance on real bodies. And there's just a whole other world of things that we experience there. And the closeness of the relationships is, I mean, my dancer friends have been my lifelong, people. And then people that are, that are running small plates with me are like people like you that I've known for a long time. And my friends from Hawaii that I met in college, in grad school there as a dance major. And it's just like lifelong friendships. And there's so much happening behind the scenes of that dance. And that's what I wanted to open up that world to more people and more audiences.
Yep, it's true. And we just had our 10th, I guess it was a couple of years ago, but 10th anniversary. And all of the former dancers that have ever danced with me came and we had this big celebration.
Oh my gosh.
And we just we're like, this is the reason. It was the people, it's the people, that makes it so special. And you do get close when you are dancing with someone because you are being very vulnerable and the trust and the experience. It does make a very special kind of family for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You're answering some of my questions before I even asked them, but you touched on, I was going to ask you if there's like any like one particular process, inspiration, or convention that you like, that you feel is like your signature for creating dance. You talked a little bit about your mentor.
No, yeah, there is. Some choreographers find music and then that compels them to
Mm-hmm.
create. But I usually start with an idea or theme or even a story that I want to that is like want to tell. And then I play with movement and I usually bring in the studio a phrase, like a
Mm-hmm.
phrase that I've choreographed. And then, or, we even do research in the studio and, say, this is the idea. This is what I'm thinking. What do you guys think about that? And
Mm-hmm.
then we will come up with phrases together and then we manipulate them. That's just, the original phrase is never seen on the stage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then we try to find music that fits our theme and the movement, which is a kind of it's sometimes difficult. And I sometimes change the music like a week before we're going. But
You're one of those.
as yes, I am one of those.
See, I would never have guessed that because your movement is so lyrical and it does seem like really paired to the music. I would have guessed that it was built alongside the music.
I mean, almost every piece I've ever created, the music has come last, which makes it kind of difficult, kind of difficult. But then it also makes it interesting because you're not like kind of a slave to the music. It might be in contrast, like the movement might be a little bit in contrast of what is happening in the music, which is nice. And then sometimes we end up having to change the movement to fit the piece of music that we've gotten.
Yeah.
For sure. But very rarely, like I can't even think of a time where I found music first. And now with my high schoolers, it's a little different because but they experience this process as well, which is the first time they're like, what do you mean we don't have music? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why don't you guys listen to a few pieces of music and bring it in, remembering what the theme and the idea is. And they find that just like terrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dancers are a huge tool in my work, and we allow it for complete creativity with them if they have ideas. It's always choreographed by Meredith Barnes and dancers. I mean, they
Yeah.
really do. Their input is great, and we try stuff, and then we throw out stuff that doesn't fit or doesn't work. It's a communal process. It's been interesting because I can see through the years, like you can see the different personalities of the dancers kind of shape a season, and it was like, oh, we did a lot of forward rolls that year. Oh, that's because Kristen was with us and she loved forward rolls. So that's kind of fun to see that.
That's cool. So let's talk a little bit about Relationship Impasse, your dance from Small Plates Newburgh.
Sure. So the duet is part of a larger piece that was called Lost. So it was a full length work. It delves into the moment, like that particular one, Relationship Impasse, delves into the moment when you find like yourself at a standstill with someone that you love deeply. For me, it was very personal. Lost in general, it was at the height of the pandemic. And that particular piece was very personal for me. Sometimes I just do like theories and kind of, let's study nature. But this particular piece was very personal because it was right at the pandemic, right after George Floyd had been murdered. I had a friendship that was truly tested during this time. And I wasn't certain that we were going to be able to continue as friends. And to be honest, it did change our relationship. We are friends, but at that point, I was really grieving this friendship. And it was just like a friendship that was so deep. And then these things happened. And it was like, wait, what are you talking about? And we were so on a different page. I wanted to express that through dance a little bit. And when I brought it to the dancers, and it's been done with different dancers, it's had several casts since then. everyone could relate to that. Everyone was
Mhm.
like, yes, I also, have had that experience. And maybe it wasn't from the same thing that triggered it, but has had that experience where you're really close with someone and then there's something that happens that you just can't get over, and just can't get through and will not, like, I will never change my mind about this and they will never change their mind about this. So
Mhm.
that's where that came from. So you can see in the movement, hopefully they're very comfortable with each other in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And then it's just a place where let's try to get through this. Can we remain friends and still, can we get through it and remain friends?
I mean, I do think that's something we all can relate to. I know I during the pandemic I did lose a really close friend. And it was like literally 1 minute we were under a tree having a picnic together, literally. And it was like 2, 3 days later, it was like, well, I'm never speaking to you again.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was like one of those, like, what happened? It can be really jarring. I don't think there's a woman alive that hasn't had that experience with a close friend. Yeah, and I thought you expressed it really beautifully in your dance. Would you like to watch it now?
Sure.
Talk about it some more. Okay. Are you enjoying the Dance Maker podcast? Please share it on your social media channels. Like, subscribe, leave a review, do all the things to help us reach more dance makers, dance enthusiasts, and audiences. If you're interested in Small Plates Choreography Festival, there are many ways to get involved with our shows. You can apply to present work. You can support us by coming to one of our performances or watching a live stream. And you can also support us financially. Small Plates is fiscally sponsored by Fractured Atlas, and so your support is tax deductible. Please check our website, smallplatesdance.com, for open applications, links to purchase tickets, and to donate. Be sure to join our email list to receive notices about new podcast episodes, application deadline reminders, and announcements about new shows and events. See you at Small Plates. That was so well done, and the dancers did such a good job with it. Why does it make me feel sad when I see them dancing together?
Because it's a farewell dance. I think it's that last hug. You can tell they're going to go their separate ways at the end. And
Yeah.
it's grieving the loss of a friendship.
Sometimes the relationships do, they continue, but there's always something there. It's never the same, and sometimes it's easier to just, end the relationship.
Yep. Or just continue on and pretend.
Yeah. Like it's almost more truthful to just be like, okay, you're going to go we can't come to terms with this. You're going to go your way and I'm going to go my way. And that feels more honest than, being in the same space together and pretending that we're friends and that we don't have this irreconcilable thing.
And, I do think it was healing for me and to create this piece. And, I do think that it's a personal experience for all of us. And hopefully, I think that dance does have the power, to make audiences feel. Hopefully, it will help someone else to kind of maybe come to terms with something that they are feeling lost about, or even consider what is that impasse in relationships to make them a stronger person altogether. That's kind of deep, but
it is really deep.
It's kind of deep.
I was thinking about like even the spatial patterns and the way that you constructed the piece with a lot of like mirroring, and like there is this beauty in this alignment that was created, where at times there was alignment and at times there was alignment, but it was going in opposite directions. there's still beauty there. Like there's beauty and symmetry and alignment and a really beautiful flow in that kind of contrasting of opposites and the mirroring of things going in opposite directions. With my friendship, we had such wonderful times together. And it, like at the end of the relationship, this friend wanted to be like, this was toxic the whole time. And I was like,
Mm.
you don't want to speak to me ever again. That's fine. But don't take away like what we did have, which was a really beautiful friendship.
I agree. And that's the intent with a lot of really wanted the dancers to look comfortable together.
Yeah.
Like they knew each other. They knew each other's, the way that they moved. They had a lot in common. I mean, a lot, a lot in common. And then something as simple as like they're holding hands, but their heads are turning away from each other, just something that shows that there is one thing that they can't be in complete harmony together. And that is, one of the reasons why there was like the separation and then the coming back together, the slow walk around but then really being in sync in other areas as well.
Yeah. And I love the idea of, the beauty of those moments. Sadly, they can't continue, but there was beauty there.
Yep.
There's beauty there.
Yeah, I know. We were so thrilled to have brought it. And that show was just incredible. And to be dancing alongside of those talented artists was a thrill. So thank you for having us.
Oh, we could not
have
been happier or more proud to present your work in that. Newburgh last year was really an incredible show, and it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know. There was just some magic. Everybody brought a little bit of, you brought your magic. Everyone brought a little bit of magic, and it was just a wonderful experience. And, I hope we can keep just as our experience at Small Plates Duck too, and I'm sure our Nova experience will be too. It's like the people that we bring together. It's like just, there's a lot of connection between the artists, and we just have a lovely time with this, shared passion of making dance. It feels good. So tell us anything else you might have coming up.
Yeah, so we're hosting our open dance works, but that is going to be in June. And then we're doing a summer intensive, which is nice, a 3-day summer intensive also in June, which we've done in the past, but we haven't in a few years. So it's nice to kind of get that back. And then we have Small Plates Duck, which is going to be in July, and that's exciting. I'm working on a string of pieces called Statistically Speaking. We have a number of works that are like playing with number statistics, because we know numbers lie. Statistics lie. So some of it is just like literally exploring. We're doing one that's called 2 of 5, where 2 of the dancers are really pulled out of this group of 5. And then that one is actually a little more personal, because it's like, we've looked at like statistics that say 2 out of 5, women experience some sort of sexual harassment, right? So, or something like that. So we have like kind of, that's the theme of that one. And we have 1 of 4. So 1 dancer is always pulled out. And then we've got 3 of 7, which was really interesting because there's like 53 different, we have 7 dancers. You have like 53 different combinations of trios.
Ooh,
so that one's like moving in and out, very fast paced. There's always a trio going on, and never the same people are dancing together.
Wow, that's such an exciting way to work.
Yeah,
I love those ideas.
And it was so we haven't really presented much of this work, so we are planning on doing a couple of those at Duck. And then we have our Transformation Dance Festival in November, which we have been doing for the past 8 years. And I think it's November the 22nd this year. And this is where we invite dancers, choreographers to present work. And the application for that is open. It is in Northern Virginia. It's in Fairfax where we have the performance, and it's one night only. And it's just really become kind of a beloved event here.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see what the community is going to bring to that.
That's an application performance anybody can apply to. Do you take artists outside of the local area?
Yes, we do. We do. Last year we had someone coming from North Carolina. Actually, two artists from North Carolina that came. Most of them are local, but we certainly have had some traveler come in, which is great. We just love to have it. Gives it a little, our audience sees something new, and it's really cool because, I'm supporting other dance makers. That's my whole goal is to support the dance community in any way that we can. And a couple of the pieces that were presented at Transformations last year, the choreographers continued to develop, and now they're going to be at Dance Place in their new releases workshop. So I feel like I was kind of part of that. Like,
you're the mama.
You're the
choreography mama of Nova.
Yeah. So they're going to be presented actually next weekend. So I'm going to see those. So that's so that's really cool. So so that's what we have coming up. And then next year in April, we're hosting Small Plates at Capital One Hall, which is in Tyson's Corner. Beautiful space.
I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
Probably exciting. Did we talk about when we were going to open applications? Probably by the time this
podcast is aired.
We'll have them open so people could apply.
Yep. And that's April 11th, right?
April 11th, 2026. Yeah, that's going to be a one night only evening of Small Plates.
Yay.
Wonderful. Well, I know that we could talk for a long time. And
we'll have to just call and chat.
have conversations that could never end. And hopefully if we ever have a relationship impasse, we can work it out. Because you really are a special friend, and I'm really grateful for you.
Thanks,
in my life and your support over the years. And it's just, it's really a blessing to have you and the leadership of Small Plates.
I'm so excited. And thank you so much for being there for me and for dance in wherever you go.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Maybe I will start to dance again myself and choreograph again myself sometime soon. I'm looking forward to the days when I can do that. I'm talking to everybody about their processes and what they do, and I'm like, oh, sounds so fun. Especially that thing with the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Statistics. I love that.
It's like a problem that we have to solve. And it was really interesting to see the dance. I'm like, who hasn't danced together? We had it all written down. We're like, oh, and sometimes it's literally like 4 counts. That's a trio. Yes.
Wow. That sounds so fun. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being part of the podcast and for being my friend. We'll put all your information in the show notes so people can find you and everything that you're doing and amplify your reach. You could be mama to more choreographers, more and more and more.
I'd love it. Thank you so much for having me, Beth.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Dance Maker podcast, sponsored by Small Plates Choreography Festival. Be sure to support this podcast by liking, subscribing, and sharing with a friend or on your social media channels, or by leaving us a review. That really helps us expand our reach. To learn more about Small Plates Choreography Festival, please visit our website, www.smallplatesdance.com, where you can apply to be one of our performances. Be sure to also sign up for our newsletter and be the first to hear about new shows, get reminders about application deadlines, and of course, we will also let you know each time a new podcast episode drops. We rely on your financial support. If you would like to support Small Plates with a tax-deductible donation, please donate through our fiscal sponsor, Fractured Atlas. The link to donate can be found on our website and in the show notes for this podcast. Until next time, fellow dance makers, happy creating.